this is Jain, and today I'm back with another expert in his own field of education. Introducing CA Dinesh Jain. He is a faculty at the Bhardwaj Institute in Chennai. He teaches the CFM subject, which is Costing and Financial Management subject for the CA IPCC students, and he also teaches the final students. He teaches SFM and AMA to the final students. He has been a rank holder throughout his CA journey, which is in CPT, Inter and Final. So I'm so glad he accepted to do a video for us, which was in high demand from all of you. So he's going to talk about how to study or revise within the 1.5 days that you get for your CFM paper. Hope you follow it and you excel in your examinations. So let's go.
Myself Dinesh Jain, a faculty for Cost Accounting and Financial Management at Bhardwaj Institute. We are recording this video to provide you last minute pointers for your exam and the strategy to be followed during 3 hours of your exam. Now, as you are aware that we normally have a 1 day gap between exam and you get around 1.5 days to prepare for a paper. But based on my experience, what I found that is people struggle to find what is to be done in this 1.5 hours before exam. So this video is basically being recorded to provide you few key pointers to be kept in mind for this 1.5 days of preparation. So the video will help you in understanding what needs to be done for 1.5 hours gap, and also the time, how do you use when you write your exam paper. So now coming to this crucial time of maybe 1.5 days, or if I put it in number of hours, it can be maximum of 18 hours of preparation which you can put in during this time. So how do we effectively use this 18 hours of preparation for your CAFM paper? Now coming to this paper, this is basically classified into 2 areas. One is your cost accounting and the second is on financial management. Also, the paper has good amount of weightage from theory point of view, with approximately 30 marks coming from theory area. So what I would ideally want students to focus on during this 1.5 days is, these are the priority of your preparation. Your first priority should be on completing the theory part. Though you would have focused more and more on practical aspects during your preparation, even during your classes, but what gets normally missed out is the theory part. So you would have done 1 round of preparation, but the focus should be at this point of time to complete your theory part and then focus on problem. So in order to complete theory, what you should ideally do is complete chapter 1 of costing, as well as chapter 1 and chapter 5 of financial management. So these are the 3 chapters which should be your priority as far as theory is concerned, and all other chapters please focus on the summary section. This is on from theory point of view. But now coming to the important areas from practical problems point of view, in cost accounting the important areas should be one is standard costing, non-integrated accounts, you also have marginal costing, and also to a great extent overheads chapter. These are 4 critical chapters from costing point of view. If I look from FM point of view, the important areas will obviously be financial analysis and planning and your financing decision chapter. So these are your crucial key areas to be read day before exam. Now, how do you go about preparing these areas as well as other areas? Now, in every chapter, I'll tell you the key problems which you should work out are the key areas which you should look at. Now, as far as standard costing is concerned, please pick out a problem and try to do 1 problem on material variances, 1 problem on labor variances, 1 problem on variable overhead variances, as well as fixed overhead variances and sales variances. So this will give you an overview of all the 5 types of variances which are there, and will also help you in remembering the formula associated with this. Coming to non-integrated accounts, please summarize all the journal entries which are there. Be very, very clear about the journal entries in relation to your raw material, or WIP, or overhead. So all the areas journal entries should be absolutely clear with you. And on top of the journal entries, what you should do is try to do 1 problem on ledger posting for non-integrated accounts and another problem for reconciliation. In reconciliation, be clear on reconciliation statement as well as memorandum reconciliation account. So try to solve 1 problem on these areas. Coming to marginal costing, solve maybe 3 or 4 problems on basic areas like break-even point, margin of safety, profit volume ratio. So these will give you the comfort factor, or it will help you in analyzing these areas better when it comes to your exam. So be clear on these three areas, that is your break-even point, margin of safety and profit volume ratio. Be clear on change in profit by change in sales formula as far as PVR is concerned, and also do marginal costing versus absorption costing may be a problem. When it comes to overheads chapter, maybe one problem on primary overhead distribution, one problem on simultaneous equations method, and one problem on Mishna rate method. Mishna rate method will be the most important area as far as overheads is concerned. Now this doesn't mean that you can go ahead and ignore your other areas. Now coming to other areas, I'll tell you important pointers for every chapter. In materials chapter, just solve one problem on EOQ and one problem on inventory levels. When it comes to labor chapter, solve one problem on Rowan versus Halsey, and maybe one more problem on labor turnover ratio. And apart from that, I think you should obviously focus on remembering all the formula which are associated with labor chapter. Then when it comes to process costing, one problem on FIFO method, one problem on weighted average cost method, and one problem on inter-process profits method. So that should be very clear. In operating costing, one problem on transportation costing would do. When it comes to joint and byproduct costing, I would prefer you guys doing one problem on all the various methods which are available for joint cost apportionment, and also maybe one problem on byproduct costing, which is an area which normally people do miss out on. And then when it comes to areas like contract costing, do all the formula, be clear on all the formula relating to profit transfer. One basic problem on a contract account, just to get a feeler of how a contract account look. And apart from that, be clear on how do you disclose WIP on the balance sheet. So be clear on that aspect as well. And in budgets and budgetary control, one problem on flexible budget and one problem on your functional budgets. I think that should take care of your entire costing. When it comes to financial management, there are basically only 4 chapters. All other are theory-based chapter. As far as chapter on financial analysis and planning is concerned, it's basically 3 areas. You have ratio analysis, you have fund flow statement, you have cash flow statement. So what you should focus on, do one problem on fund flow statement, one problem on cash flow statement, and maybe one problem each on the various types of ratios which you have. So maybe a problem on liquidity ratio, a problem on turnover ratio, a problem on efficiency ratio, a problem on profitability ratio. When it comes to chapter of financing decision, please focus on these things. One problem on WACC and one problem on optimum mix should be your key focus area, and also be clear on the leverages and capital structure theories. So maybe one problem on each of these areas. When it comes to capital budgeting, the chapter is vast but not that much important from exam point of view. So what you can focus on, just one problem on all the 6 techniques of various capital budgeting techniques, and maybe a problem on replacement decision and your new purchase decision. That should take care of this chapter. When it comes to working capital management chapter, herein the 3 categorization are there. You have cash management, you also have receivables management, you also have estimation. In estimation, try to do one problem on operating cycle and one problem maybe on your working capital estimation for new entity and an existing entity. Cash management, just do a cash budget, one problem on cash budget, that should take care of it. Receivables management, obviously one problem on credit policy relaxation and maybe one problem on your factoring. Once you are done with all of this, you basically get a feeler of the entire costing, which can be completed, maybe my understanding says you complete all of this in 14-15 hours of preparation. So you still have a good amount of time left before the exam. So what do you do at that point of time? Try to revise all your critical adjustments, the key summaries which you would have written, the key notes which you would have jotted down, and also the various formula which are there. Marginal costing has so many formula, standard costing has so many formula, labor has so many formula. So keep revising all your formula again and again so that you get a lot of comfort on these areas. So that should be your strategy as far as your preparation is concerned during this 1.5 days. I wouldn't advise you guys to miss out on anything because everything is important as far as CFM is concerned. But I won't want you to prepare anything new at this stage. So everything has to be whatever you have learned till now. You cannot learn anything new at this stage. So focus on whatever you have prepared till now and go ahead with your preparation. Now coming to the 3R strategy on the exam day, which is the most important part as far as your final marking is concerned, because what you do during those 3 hours will decide your fate as far as the exams are concerned. Now, I'll point out the mistakes which students do and also tell you what you can do to avoid that. I've seen a lot of students go ahead and write their solution without understanding what is exactly asked in the question. You don't even try to understand what is asked in the question, but just go about doing a problem. For example, a problem asks you to calculate something called as material cost variance. It does not ask you to calculate material price or yield or mix, but students just in a hurry try to do every possible thing in that, and you spend good amount of time on it without any marks coming from it. So be clear on what is asked in the question and be clear as to answering that aspect only. So how can you ensure this part? This is where those 15 minutes before the exam which you get for reading the paper becomes very, very crucial. Be clear on how are you going to answer the paper. Just start in your mind, be very clear that this is the first question I'm going to answer, this is the second question I'm going to answer. So be clear on that ordering and be clear on what is asked in each of the questions. So use that 15 minutes judiciously. Be very, very clear on what is required in the paper and maybe bring about an order which you are going to follow to solve your paper. So that is as far as the 15-minute time is concerned and how it can help you in answering what is asked in the question. The second thing which people tend to do is making some calculation mistake, some basic mistake in calculation. You forget adding a zero, when it has to be added, you subtract it, when it is to be multiplied, you divide it. So all these basic mistakes, if we are solving a 10-mark problem and you do this mistake at stage 1, that is in the first part of the solution, the entire problem goes wrong. And when it goes wrong, what we get out of it is 0 marks out of it, because your final answer has to match with whatever is there in the material. Though you get the step marks, but your step marks will also not be applicable here because you have missed out in the first stage itself. Now, how can you avoid this? You will have to come out of the stress which is there during the exam. So you'll have to be extremely relaxed at this stage. And to ensure that there are no mistakes happening, maybe you will have to cross-check your answer. You will have to cross-check your answer after doing some part of calculation at every stage. Maybe after doing a problem for 6-7 minutes, you may have to check your calculation for half a minute or so. And there are few areas where once you are done with the problem, you understand whether you have done it correct or not. For example, reconciliation or cash flow statement or fund flow statement, wherein there is an auto check which is available. So in case an auto check is available, it's great. If no auto check is available, I would advise you guys to spend a little bit of time post your calculation is done. The other thing which I would advise you guys is, most of you tend to not attend the entire 100 marks paper. What happens because of this is, if you answer only for 80 marks, you will get only 60s or 50s or 40s out of the 80. Try answering for 100 marks. I always follow a golden rule, which is 1.5 minutes per mark. So what does this ensure? This ensures that your paper is completed in 150 minutes. When your entire paper is completed in 150 minutes, you still have another 30 minutes to go and complete your incomplete answers. Check your calculation at multiple places and be clear on that what you have done is right. So please follow this rule of 1.5 minutes per mark. And other presentation techniques which I would want ideally you to focus on is, answer all the subsections of a question together. Start with a question which you are extremely clear about, where you can get maybe 18 out of 20 or 20 out of 20. So start with that question. Always start a new question, not the subsection of a question, a new question in a fresh page. And one more key thing is, don't make the examiner or the person who corrects your paper to search for the answer. So any question which asks you multiple things, at the end of the question, ideally write a summary and put that in a box. Now what do I mean by a summary? For example, you do a problem on standard costing. It asks you material cost, material price, material usage, labor rate, labor efficiency. You do all your working notes, you solve it, everything. But your answer is at scattered places. Material cost is at one place, yield is at one place, labor rate is at one place, efficiency is at one place. Now what you can do is, you can bring about all of this in a summary section saying MCV is equal to so much, material price is equal to so much, usage is equal to so much, and give appropriate reference to the working note which is there. By this way, what can be done is, it makes it extremely easier for the person to correct. He will not get irritated, and you will also reference your working notes properly, because you'll have to give a reference to your working note in the summary section. I hope the pointers which I've given to you will help you in your preparation. So will help you in your preparation for 1.5 days before the exam, and also it will help you in excelling in your paper. So with all of this, what you can get is extremely good marks, and easily a 60 is achievable. A very easy score is 60 as far as costing is concerned, and that is easily achievable if you follow all of this what I have said. With this, I end the video and I wish you all the best for your exams. Thank you.